The Bible's top 10 most mysterious and terrifying creatures. 1. The fiery serpents. In Numbers 21, the Israelites are attacked by fiery serpents, sent by God as punishment for their complaints against Him during their desert journey. These serpents are terrifying not just for their physical danger but also for what they represent: divine wrath and the consequences of ingratitude and lack of faith. The story culminates in God instructing Moses to create a bronze serpent, which, when looked upon, heals those bitten. This event symbolizes salvation and redemption, illustrating how God can transform a symbol of punishment into one of healing. 2. The great fish in Jonah. In the book of Jonah, the great fish that swallows Jonah is a symbol of divine intervention in the inescapability of God's will. While not described in detail as a terrifying creature, its role in the narrative is pivotal. It's through this experience inside the fish that Jonah comes to understand the depth of his disobedience and the necessity of submitting to God's will. This creature's role in Jonah's transformation makes it both awe-inspiring and a symbol of rebirth and repentance. 3. The frogs of the plagues. In Exodus, one of the 10 plagues God sends upon Egypt is a plague of frogs. These frogs, covering the land and infiltrating homes, represent a divine judgment against Pharaoh and Egypt for enslaving the Israelites. Their overwhelming presence and the discomfort they cause highlight the extent of God's power and the seriousness of defying His will. The frogs, though not individually terrifying, collectively symbolize chaos, disorder, and the consequences of hard-heartedness against God's people. 4. The lion in 1 Kings. In 1 Kings chapter 13, a prophet is killed by a lion as a judgment from God for his disobedience. The lion in this context is an instrument of divine justice, emphasizing the seriousness of adhering to God's commands. The suddenness and ferocity of the attack demonstrate the immediate nature of divine retribution in certain biblical narratives, serving as a cautionary tale about the importance of obedience and the reality of divine accountability. 5. The angel of death. In the Passover story in Exodus, the angel of death passes over Egypt, killing the firstborn in every household that isn't marked with lamb's blood. This figure, while not described in detail, is profoundly terrifying in its role and the swiftness of its judgment. It represents the culmination of God's wrath against Egypt and serves as a pivotal moment in the liberation of the Israelites. The angel of death is a symbol of divine justice and the severe consequences of opposing God's will. 6. The 4 chariots in Zechariah. In Zechariah chapter 6, 4 chariots emerge between 2 mountains, each pulled by different colored horses. These chariots are interpreted as divine agents executing judgment across the earth. The imagery is apocalyptic and awe-inspiring, symbolizing God's sovereignty and the execution of His judgment across the nations. The chariots and their horses, with their mysterious and powerful appearance, embody the eschatological themes prevalent in prophetic literature. 7. The she-bears in 2 Kings. In 2 Kings chapter 2, 2 she-bears maul 42 youths who mock the prophet Elisha. This event is terrifying in its suddenness and severity, highlighting the theme of respect for God's prophets. The bears serve as agents of divine retribution, enforcing a harsh lesson on the consequences of mockery and disrespect towards God's chosen messengers. 8. The pale horse in Revelation. In Revelation chapter 6, the 4th horseman of the apocalypse rides a pale horse, and his name is Death, followed by Hades. This horseman represents death and the ultimate fate awaiting all humanity. The imagery of the pale horse is unsettling and evokes a sense of inevitability and solemnity, underscoring the themes of mortality and divine judgment. 9. The 7-headed beast from the sea. In Revelation chapter 13, a beast rises from the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This beast, distinct from the earlier mentioned beast of Revelation, represents the culmination of worldly powers opposed to God. It is a symbol of blasphemy, opposition, and persecution, embodying the corrupting influence of power and the antithesis to divine authority. 10. The 2 witnesses in Revelation. In Revelation chapter 11, 2 witnesses prophesy for 1,260 days and have the power to strike the earth with plagues. While not creatures in the traditional sense, their role in the narrative is intimidating. They represent God's unyielding truth in the face of opposition and are a source of awe and fear for those opposing them. Their eventual death and resurrection further symbolize the victory of God's message over worldly opposition. In the vast and intricate tapestry of the Bible, a myriad of enigmatic entities and figures emerge, each carrying profound symbolic and theological significance. These beings, rooted in the rich narrative soil of ancient scriptures, transcend mere mythological status, offering deep insights into the spiritual and moral dimensions of the text. From formidable beings embodying the raw forces of nature to ethereal messengers bridging the divine and the mortal realms, the Bible presents a diverse spectrum of creatures that challenge our understanding of the natural and supernatural. Their appearances and actions within these sacred stories are not just for dramatic effect. They serve as pivotal elements in conveying the underlying themes of faith, morality, divine justice, and redemption. Exploring these creatures leads us into the heart of biblical teachings, revealing layers of meaning and wisdom embedded in these ancient texts, and inviting us to reflect on the complex relationship between humanity and the divine. Of metaphors and symbols that resonate deeply with the human experience. These entities, more than mere characters in ancient tales, are profound embodiments of life's greatest mysteries and spiritual truths. They serve as mirrors reflecting our deepest fears, aspirations, and moral dilemmas. Through their stories, we confront the elemental forces of nature, grapple with the notions of good and evil, and explore the depths of divine intervention and human destiny. Their presence in these sacred texts is not just to intrigue or terrify but to impart timeless wisdom and provoke soul-stirring reflection. They are keys unlocking the vast chambers of theological and philosophical thought, inviting us into a realm where the lines between the seen and unseen, the temporal and eternal, blur. Engaging with these figures is not just an exercise in religious study, it's a journey into the heart of what it means to be human, facing the infinite tapestry of existence with awe, reverence, and a quest for understanding. Their stories, etched in the annals of history, continue to captivate, enlighten, and inspire, beckoning us to delve deeper into the mysteries of faith and the human condition. In conclusion, the creatures and symbolic figures in the Bible are not merely elements of ancient storytelling but are deeply embedded in the fabric of its theological and moral teachings. These figures serve to illustrate the profound themes of the Bible. They bring to life the struggles between good and evil, the omnipotence of God, and the human quest for understanding and redemption. These biblical figures, whether real or metaphorical, challenge readers to contemplate the mysteries of faith, the complexities of divine will, and the enduring power of redemption and hope. They underscore the Bible's role not just as a religious text, but as a timeless repository of wisdom and insight into the human condition in the divine cosmos. For more videos like these, please like, share and subscribe, and please press the bell icon.